Thanks for staying with us here on TVC. Breakfast is now time for us to look at what the papers are reporting. If you look at the Nation newspaper, it says Tinubu relieved by freedom for 24 abducted Kebbi schoolgirls. Release facilitated through non-kinetic approach. Pupils to reunite with parents today. Next is the Punch newspaper. Kidnapping spree escalates as federal government negotiates hostages' freedom. 18 mothers, children, others abducted in fresh Kano. Kwara raids, Kebbi girls freed. Federal government defense negotiations with bandits. Next is the Leadership newspaper. 24 abducted Kebbi schoolgirls rescued in Niger State. Matawale, no ransom paid. Security operatives exchanged gunfire with abductors before rescue. That's according to Minister Tinubu. I'm relieved all 24 girls have been accounted for. Next is the Blueprint newspaper. As Tinubu orders air surveillance in Kwara, Kebbi, Niger, Maga college girls regain freedom to reunite with families today. Pregnant woman, 18 others abducted in Kwara, Kano. Police vigilantes begin manhunt. This Nigeria, freedom for 24 Kebbi girls. Tinubu orders 24-hour security surveillance. Traumatized parents plead for release of Niger students still in captivity. Next is the Daily Times. Tinubu confirms release of 24 Kebbi schoolgirls. And the Daily Independent. Attacked communities. Catholic bishops ask federal government to probe without security responses. Say they give impression of collusion or lack of will to act. Sharia court overreach threatens secularism and rights of Christians. Next is the Platform Times. Bandits hideouts known. Civilians at risk of airstrikes. Federal government. Military cautious as hostages used as human shields. Federal government reviewing police deployments to vulnerable northern communities. The Guardian newspaper still talking about insecurity, which triggers rare APC dissent in representatives amid fresh Kwara Kano attacks. And then Nigerian News Direct. CBN holds MPR at 27% as inflation eases. 16 banks cross recapitalization hurdle. Nature News newspaper. UN marks Sustainable Transport Day, urges shift to greener solutions. And last but not least, Frederick out of 2025 AFCON, sustains knee injury, sidelined for 12 weeks. Panic grips Shell Eagles camp. All right, then, let's get down to brass tacks with Etoma, Ria, and of course, Ibrahim.
Of course, I like that.
All right, then, today it's, we've been talking about insecurity. Today is still much more of security because of the good news that are coming in. But then, no matter how much we try to bring the good news, these criminal elements will also try to lace it with some poison, which is the bad side of it. But then, we are happy that the president is also relieved at the same time for the freedom of the 24 abducted Kebbi schoolgirls who were released. I mean, the release which was facilitated through non-kinetic approach, and pupils are expected to reunite with their family today.
Yes. But first of all, the girls will be taken to hospital for medical checkup before they are reunited with their families. I'm so happy that the thing has happened. You know, the last time we spoke about it, I talked about the risk of the Stockholm syndrome affecting the girls. But 9 days is not enough for that kind of stuff to happen, depending on what happened in captivity.
They must have relaxed, done a whole lot of things, and then no anxiety, etc.
They must have seen the life in captivity as routine.
That's right.
And that's when you now start having the Stockholm syndrome coming in. It is very good optics for Nigeria. I wish we were just discussing this only without soiling the sweetness with the other story. But if we continue like this, then we will be taken seriously as a country.
Absolutely. If you look at the Punch newspaper, Ria, kidnapping spree escalates as federal government hostages negotiates hostages freedom. And the sad news is that 18 mothers, children, others abducted in fresh Kano Kwara raids. Kebbi girls freed. Federal government defense negotiations with bandits. On one side, those who were released, we had that there were negotiations, but not ransom paid. But Who are these other criminal elements who are now gone to abduct 18 mothers and, of course, children?
I'll first start with the Kebbi girls. I'm happy that they are freed. I'm happy that they didn't have to stay so long, before that we got them out. I'm happy that it's not like another Chibok story where we'll say bring back our girls for ages and we do not get them back. So first of all, I'd like to give accolades to the federal government and the president that this was acted very fast, and then we have these girls, get back to their parents and all. But I also want to speak about security in our schools. I'm saying this, it's not just about bringing these girls. We do not want another set of girls taken again. At this point, I feel like we should be thinking, how are we securing the schools? We know that right now some schools are closed because of what is happening. How long would this school be closed? These girls need to learn, because if they do not go to school, they do not learn a trade, nothing, how would they end up? So there's so many things that we need to look at. We're celebrating their freedom. I'm happy they are free. But what's next after that? Would they be able to go back to school? These are conversations that we have to be having. Now we're celebrating this, and look at what's happening in Kano and Kwara. Pregnant women are being taken. I'm wondering, what do you want to do with a pregnant woman? I feel like with these bandits, the audacity that they have gotten, I just pray that we're able to finally eradicate this and bring peace back into our country, because a lot of people are scared right now, Ibrahim. We're celebrating one good news, and the next thing we're hearing another really damaging news.
Sorry, Ibrahim, but before you go to the next paper, talking about the audacity, the village where the bandits hit in Kwara State is the next village from Iruku. So you can imagine
that proximity.
The proximity is there,
local government.
And if this happened there, how come we didn't have security operatives spread around that area to forestall
and Ibrahim, I think that with these girls too, I don't know how it's going to be, but I think that they need to be asked questions. Who are these people? Did you get to see their faces? Because I feel like we need to tackle these. We need to tackle these head on, because the more we celebrate good news, the more that these people are planning to do evil things. Christmas is coming. People do not want to lose their families.
One of those guys released, are the CAC, kidnapping, that church. The guy said that they saw them, that these guys are daredevil. And then they call themselves bandits. We even saw a video trending at the point where bandits was also live streaming.
They're on TikTok right now. They're on TikTok.
Yeah, so you can imagine the level of audacity. And people are questioning, what about the geospatial, what's it called? I've forgotten. Something, geolocator. Where you know that wherever it is that you do a video, you film your video, you will be located. Because they say people who criticize the government, in the corner of their room, the government is able to fish them out. Why are we not able to geolocate these people where they're doing the videos?
Ibrahim,
that's another
very big question, actually, because why can't we trace those videos? Whenever I see those videos about bandits and everything, I get really irritated. And also when I see people joking about it, it's not funny. Because there are some contents about it, and I'm wondering what is funny here. I feel like when they post those videos, what are we doing? Our intelligence, how are we able to locate exactly where they are? So it means that people actually know where these people are. Why are we not going to pick them up?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that, talk about the location, because the federal government said that they know where they are, but because of the people within them, they don't want to get to that level where we have collateral damage. But let's look at the next paper, most especially the blueprint, saying that Tinubu orders air surveillance in Kwara, Kebbi, Niger. So they know that these are the enclave where all these, bandits are, they are stationed. It used to be Borno, it used to be Yobe. Yeah. Some pockets of attacks are still happening there. How is Governor Zulum, or how has he been doing it, that he's now building schools, building infrastructure, hospitals, etc.? This used to be a place, where Boko Haram operated from. They are still there, but not at the level of, that magnitude where we used to, report it. Other governors need to also learn. They need to learn from this governor how he's able to, achieve this peace. And I guess some of these people are moving away from the criminals, are moving away from there to, the states we are now mentioning. But the government, the president has ordered air surveillance around this place, that they need to cordon it off. Which is
a very good order, I would have suggested that the surveillance should cover the whole northern region of Nigeria, not just those states. At the peak of the insecurity, I had to go to Maiduguri, and I got to Maiduguri and I was shocked. It was a party. You had white men everywhere. Nightclubs were functioning. People were living regular lives. And I said, what?
You mean recently, after the...
No, not recently. Not recently, some years back. I don't know the situation there right now. But if Governor Zulum
No, you didn't go to the hinterland. You went to Maiduguri. That's the capital.
Oh, yes. But remember, this time I'm talking about was the IED periods.
Oh, yeah.
And they were detonating that stuff everywhere.
That's right.
In Maiduguri, anywhere.
But the news was louder than what you saw.
Yes. What I saw was a complete opposite of the news, So this order by Mr. President is a good one. But let us expand the scope. Because these guys, at times they do the hit and run kind of tactic. They hit here and then they travel 2 states away. So let's cover a bigger ground.
For me, Ibrahim, I'll say any order that will make sure that we are catching these bandits I'm going for it. Because Nigerians are tired. I am tired of waking up. It's dealing with our mental health. You're celebrating one good news, you're waking up another bad news. Tomorrow you don't know what you will hear. So whether it's surveillance or whatever that will be done, and we should spread it across. It's not only one place. These people are not operating in only one place. They're operating in different places.
That's right. Let me stay with you, Ria. Daily Independence is saying that attacked communities, Catholic bishops ask federal government to probe withheld security responses, say they give impression of collusion or lack of will to act. So they are saying that some soldiers, because we've had stories of some soldiers who are right there in the war front. Some of these people know where these bandits are. They see them. They go to the same market. I've got friends in the Nigerian soldier. I guess he was still there. He's been into the war front. Said back in the day, he would see them, these bandits, and they would never be given the order to strike. And if they strike, they are on their own. So it means that some people are sponsoring these people. That is why the Catholic bishops are asking this question. Like, this thing is giving that vibe that some people within the government, some blacklegs within the government are sabotaging, even within the Nigerian army, within the personnel, are sabotaging the efforts of the government to defeat this hydra-headed criminals.
I was also reading about it. I won't be surprised if there's a mole there. You know how this life is. You can never fully trust. But what I'll say is that another thing that they mentioned is that when you call people, to help you in cases of, you're in serious trouble, most of them, they even come after it has happened, or, they don't even come at all. So that's why he's saying that let's probe these people and find out what is the reason why they're doing that. It's going to be a difficult process to be able to pick out that this is the one doing it. But I feel like, if we put more intelligence in this, and also our people that are our military officers, you have sworn an oath to protect us, except you don't want to do the job. But if you have said that you want to be there for Nigeria, you want to protect the citizens, I do not see a reason why you will go otherwise. I do not see a reason why somebody is in trouble and they call you and you are not there to take care of the person, or you come later, after the thing has happened. So these are some of the things that are saying that let us probe these people and let us find out the reason why they're acting that way.
As you come in, if you look at the other rider saying that Sharia court overreach threatens secularism, rights of Christians. Yes, it is right, because the last time I checked, the Sharia law is for Muslims, not non-Muslims, because it draws its decrees and everything from the Quran and the Hadith, right? So it is for those who profess the faith, and depending on where you find yourself, if you find yourself in Saudi Arabia, you can say, okay, if I'm not a Muslim, then it is, I'm bounded by the dictates, the laws of that country. But this is a secular nation where all faith must be respected. But we understand that in the northern part of the country, some parts, they are imposing the Sharia law on non-Muslims. That is out of it.
Well, it's a little bit difficult to comment on that. Let me tell you why. When the Sharia thing did not grow as the country was created. It's something that happened when Obasanjo was president of Nigeria. We allowed it. The country allowed it, knowing that it's a secular nation.
Yeah.
And the governor, then I've forgotten his name, insisted that it has to be Sharia rule in his state. So what I'm saying is, if you find yourself in the states where they are doing Sharia rule, my brother, follow the rules if you don't want to get entangled with that. But if you are not there, if they were saying they want to implement Sharia rule in Cross River State, for example, that would have been
a predominantly Christian, environment, and then that would not be applicable.
No.
Yeah. So the only problem there is that when people talk about Sharia law, the next thing that comes to your head is they'll cut your hand, they'll cut your nose.
That's the first thing that hits your head.
Whereas what he's actually saying is what it actually pushes is morality, like no interest. drinking of alcohol, adultery, and all of that. Even if someone steals under the Sharia law, it means that the government has failed, because they have to ask you, why did you go to steal? I don't have money. Then the government has to provide for you. But is that the way they apply all of these things?
You see, the way you are explaining it makes it sound good. But the way it is being implemented, is that the way it's being implemented?
Or probably the way it is being reported in the news.
I think the way it's being reported, basically, I will stay with the way it's been reported.
Let us move on to the platform times. Now, bandits hideout known, civilians at risk of airstrikes. That's according to federal government. Military cautious as hostages used as human shields. Federal government reviewing police deployment to vulnerable northern communities. I think you also made allusion to the fact that, okay, we know where these people are. Why is it that we are not striking? Yes, we are after, we are chasing, running after the terrorists, trying to retrieve, the abducted victims and all of that. At the same time, we do not want to shell all of them.
Of course, of course. And at the end of the day, that's why they are kidnapping people and using them as human shields, because they know that the government would not want to kill innocent people. I was reading about it where, the government had said that they know some of these places, but if they strike, it will affect some villages where we have innocent people. And we do not want people dying. So that is their mentality. They know that, the government is not just going to go and airstrike and kill innocent people, and they keep using it as a shield. But now my question is, for how long would they keep using human beings as a shield? For how long would they keep using people's mothers, people's brothers, people's sisters? A lot of things need to be done. I think that this is when our intelligence needs to work, because we cannot, collateral damage is not possible. You cannot kill innocent people to save some people. So how do we now start working with our intelligence?
I think more of our operatives should go undercover, infiltrate the place and give us concrete intelligence, and that way you can plan how you can hit that place with minimal or no collateral damage.
Collateral activity.
Yeah, if you look at the Guardian newspaper, the insecurity in the country is causing rifts within the APC, and this is the goal of the criminals, the goal of the opposition. We have to make sure that you guys have a problem among yourselves. Senator, Honorable Adodogua, at the House of Representatives, saying that the administration led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is looking at this insecurity, and we are not doing enough. That is a member of the party getting so frustrated about the
human lives are being lost.
Absolutely, and it frustrates every single one of us.
So it's very frustrating. You expect emotions like that to come up.
But we're happy with the reports and then the orders they are getting. We just want results. Looking at the Nigeria News Direct, CBN holds NPR at 27% as inflation eases. 16 banks cross recapitalization hurdle. We know that all the big banks, the first tier, they are to make up to, I think, about 500 billion naira, and then the second tier, 200 billion naira, and then the fintechs, I think that's 50 billion naira. So some banks are already getting there. So about 80-something banks that we have, maybe they might marry themselves and come down to
which is not bad. Collaboration is not bad at all. But I'm happy that we see these banks, they're saying that they can stand tall on their own. And I look at this in a way that we can now start getting loans, because if the banks are doing well, we can go and ask for loans.
So getting loan at what rate? 27%?
That's another thing.
Me, it's still high.
It's still very high. We're talking about inflation. Now we say that it's not as high as it used to, but it's coming down, but it's not as high as it used to be before, but it's not that low. I've always been asking for more as a liver too. Christmas is coming. How much is a bag of rice? I hear it's about 50 or something thousand naira. Can't I buy it for 30,000 naira?
You better buy it now.
Can't I buy it for 30,000 naira? But I'm just happy to see that, some of these banks are able to stand on their own. The ones that cannot, merging is not a problem.
We're not going to see collaborations. We're going to see mergers.
That's what I'm saying. Merging is not a problem.
We're going to see the strong ones swallowing the weaker ones. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a stronger banking sector. That's the important thing.
If you cannot stand alone, you merge. And I don't think there's a problem with that.
Sorry, I don't know how much carbon emission your car actually emits, contributes to.
Who told you I have a car? I come here on a keke every day. You are talking about.
Come on now. We are on the national TV for crying out loud. Nature News is saying that UN marks Sustainable Transport Day, urges shifts to greener solutions. So cars are actually, largely contributors. Not cars, transport vehicles. Are actually larger contributors to carbon emission, greenhouse emission, and all of that. So we are pushing. They are pushing. The United Nations are pushing that we should look more to renewable energy. So that's why they're pushing EV. So maybe very soon we convert your car to electric vehicle. Every one of us ensure that whatever it is that we do, we reduce the carbon emission.
Yeah.
You know,
and also some of those cars that are not supposed to be on the road, the exhaust is just something else. You'll be going on the road, you'll see the exhaust, smoke is blowing on you. I'm like, why are these cars even on the road?
There'll be cloud everywhere, and then you won't be able
You think that rapture is coming.
Hits your way. But we don't want to stay on the fact that, you know, some people still call this a scam, because we have countries, Germany, now saying, listen, this fossil fuel you're asking us to leave, we are not going to leave it. We are making more money, so we are going back there. Yeah. Trump is saying, I'm not interested in all these green things we are talking about. But we just have to make sure the environment is friendly at the end of the day. But that's about it for the newspapers up for review today. Coming up on TVC Breakfast, following days of tension, Kebbi State has secured the freedom of all abducted students. We'll take a look at the timeline of events and how to prevent future attacks. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.